Good morning, video games. Welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games, hosted by two very kind and extremely knowledgeable boys. Thank you, one and all, so much for joining us. My name, it's Tommy Dasilo, and joining me as always,
it's Ben Vanel here, and Tommy, it's great to have you back in Melbourne. We've started recording when we're in the same city. We've got this new setup where we're in the same room, but we're in different corners of it so that our webcams can't pick the other one up. It helps like the energy, the vibe, because we're here in the same room, obviously. But I don't know. We just like to be on webcam, really.
We like to be facing away from each other. Yes. And people, if you're watching the video of this, you might be able to appreciate that it was no mean feat in order to get the lighting to be completely different in both of these corners of the room.
Yes, yeah, we have like a bunch of Philips Hue LEDs set up with different settings. It's the shadows aren't crossing over. It's a very complex setup, but we do it all for the filth.
Yeah, we are of course recording this over webcam because I stepped into my house about 2 minutes before we started doing this. I just got back from the Adelaide Fringe Festival, and boy is my wallet tired. Thank you to everyone who came down to my show at the Rhino Room. It was great to meet a couple of the filth afterwards. Back on the horse after the beating that I took in Perth.
Yes, yes.
Having a great time doing this show. So the next stop is Melbourne from April the 7th, and I would love to see you there. It's on for 2 weeks at the Cooper's Inn. TommyDasilo.com for tickets.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we're doing our mailbag episode this week on the bonus podcast. But if we were to do an Adelaide debrief, I think it would be a little different from the Perth one, which even friend of the show, Timothy Clark, messaged me and was like, oh, that was a great episode. Really liked hearing about Tommy's experience in Perth. And I'm like, you've done Perth Fringe.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, for anyone who didn't hear it, like, we talked about Tim Clark extensively on that episode too. So
yes.
I thought you were going to say, he's like, I really liked the bit where great episode, maybe the best I've ever heard. I really liked the bit where you talked about me for 10 minutes.
No, he did say thanks for the shout out, and I did tag his trivia night as well on the Instagram post, but yeah.
You made the episode artwork, a photoshopped picture of him, which yes. I would imagine him seeing that pop up on his social media would have made it very hard to resist the temptation to listen to that episode.
I'm essentially positioning our marketing mostly towards Tim Clark, and I'm happy to say it's paying off.
It's paying off. It sure is.
It's paying big dividends.
We also got a very funny email off the back of that Patreon episode. A quite bizarre set of coincidences that happened to a listener of ours that maybe we'll talk about on the mailbag. But hey, if you want to hear more of this kind of stuff that we're talking about, the Patreon every week, we chat about movies, we chat about TV shows, we do a mailbag episode once a month that's open to all of the tiers. We do special deep dives, so get on there and support the show.
You really are in comedy mode, aren't you, Tommy? You're fucking match fit.
Am I? I'm fucking exhausted. I feel crazy.
I think you've just kind of slipped into, I'm performing, so I've just got to bring the energy, which is great, honestly.
I think it was a bit of that. I felt very tired when we got on here and we do the ads before we do the episode. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fall asleep.
Yeah.
I drove to the airport and my partner came with me, and we when we had parked, she'd said, I'll write down the number of the spot that we're in. And then we were trying to find the car. For some reason, she had written down 2 spot numbers, neither of which was where we were parked.
Oh, oh yes. You hadn't bought a goldfish from the airport by any chance, had you? Fuck.
So that, like, I'd texted you and been like, yeah, I'll get in at this time and then I'll just be ready to go straight away. And then I'm like walking around the car park being like, fuck, am I going to have to text Ben and be like, maybe I'll just do it here from the car park?
Fuck, well, I'm glad you made it. And please, admonish your fiance.
Hey, I mean, look, it's nice to come in here and bring the energy and really pump myself up. Got on the call with you. We're having fun together already. It's always a pleasure, never a chore. To do this. Always a joy to see you and chat with you. However, it does feel a little premature because once again, we're going to spend a whole bunch of time talking about a bunch of layoffs and shitty stuff happening in the industry of video games.
Yeah.
We do have good stuff to talk about that
Absolutely.
we've been playing, we should say. Just once again, the news corner is a little bit brutal. We'll try to not dwell on it too much.
Yeah.
We'll try to not be too negative or catastrophic, but that one of these stories broke and I was like, oh man, that sucks. And what a bummer to have to talk about on the pod. And then the next one broke the next day. I was like, oh my God, this feels like a real critical mass point for people where they're like, a video game's just completely, is this industry just so fucked?
Yeah. Which, cinema has gone through the same thing, it feels like, where, I was reading the other day that 28 years later, the Bone Temple did so poorly that they're not potentially, I don't think it's confirmed, they might not be able to make that third one with Danny Boyle directing again, which is, really, really a shame. But after basically 18 months of just waking up every morning being like, what game studio is going to get shuttered next? I was hoping things would be turning up, but Blue Point Studios, who they've done a whole bunch of remasters and remakes. They've done them particularly well amongst, all of the ones that have been produced in the past 5-10 years or so.
They've done a great job. They're probably their most famous one, I guess, the Demon Souls remake that launched the PS5.
Yeah, exactly.
The Shadow of the Colossus remake. That was sort of Sony's go-to remaster studio. So I guess in this, the last couple of generations, there's these companies really lean on these remasters to sort of fill out their lineup. So a pretty valuable asset to have, to be able to do a good job of it. And they gone.
They're gone. They also, I think this is often the case with studios like Blue Point. They sort of do support work for other games that aren't remakes. So they worked on the God of War sequel from 2022. They worked on Titanfall. They did those two remakes you named. Gravity Rush Remastered, which, did you play that? Or did you play the sequel?
I did.
Yeah.
I think I played both.
Yeah. They've done a lot of great work over the years. And the reasoning was just, it's a tough industry, we have to make cuts somewhere, and I have to assume this this kind of work will get shipped out offshore because they were an American developer. They were based in Texas, so there are increasing taxes, tariffs, and all sorts of things that might be impacting working with them. But also that sucks when stuff gets shipped offshore and the same level of oversight and quality, isn't guaranteed necessarily. But
I think they were, according to this article that I'm reading on Polygon, they had expressed a desire to be able to do their own original stuff,
right?
Instead of just be doing support on remasters and stuff. And I guess it's. I kind of feel like when you've got a studio that is really talented at remaking games, it is such a good training platform for so Grezzo, who Nintendo got to do that remake of the Link's Awakening in that style.
Yep.
They were then the developer of the Zelda Echoes of Wisdom game.
Yeah.
So, they clearly they took that experience of having to make this game from the ground up, remake it from the ground up, and kind of see what makes it tick and figure out the mechanics and basically get to make that game in a bit more of a low stakes way because people already know that it's a good game fundamentally. And I kind of think it is such high risk. It's so hard to make a video game that having if you're one of these major console companies, having a studio like that under your wing that you can kind of you A, need remasters, and B, you get to give them easy training, kind of seems like a huge shame.
Yeah.
And I think you see all these people online after this announcement being like, well, I guess that means there's no Bloodborne remaster.
Yeah.
People will find any way to bring whatever the story is. People will always find a way to bring it back to Bloodborne in some way.
Yeah, it's like, it's just like it's on From Software. Like, I don't think they have the time or energy to even, work with us. It's not the point, people. And I remember reading as well that they had been working on a God of War live service game, sort of at the direction of Sony, which I think that kind of got scuppered as well because Concord didn't go well. And just the general sentiment of live service games over the past year, turning from this is a cash cow to if you don't get this right, you lose all the money you've invested in this project. And we've seen it with other, like you said, console manufacturers and other development companies, and this just seems to be another victim of the changing tides, which were never really the tide was never really in on live service games. We talked about it last week. The tide was in, the tide was high for a few that were unique and successful. Yeah, they've just really copped it in the neck here for no fault of their own. So, yeah, RIP Blue Point. I hope all the people working there land on their feet somewhere else because they're clearly talented developers.
Yeah, it's always strange with this when the fact that, a studio getting acquired and then, the company that's acquired them decides that they're not worth the money anymore or they've got to cut costs somewhere. And rather than them just be put back out into the wild and someone else may be able to, they just gone. The fact that if it doesn't pan out for the company that's acquired them, then just no one gets to have them. That's that's kind of the shittiest bit about it, is that it just means that, this team probably, maybe they can disband and start up you see that more and more.
Yes,
I guess a game that we'll talk about in a little bit is sort of the product of that. But it does put a lot of, they got to then get the capital to basically start up a whole new company. And, let alone all this. I wonder what they would have been working on post that God of War live. They must have been tinkering away on something. They must have been going into the office and doing some form of something that's now just scrapped. Fuck, it would be funny if it truly was a Bloodborne remaster. Imagine if that got out that it's 90% of the way done. People would go crazy.
For tax reasons, it didn't even make sense for us to sell them to someone and let them continue to produce it. It's a write-off. Unfortunately now Bloodborne will never get remastered. But very sad.
So that happened. I was just about to quite sincerely say that as a segue. I was about to accidentally marvel myself. But quite literally, that did happen.
Yes.
You cannot argue that.
Yeah. And you have got this.
And then
you have got this.
I do. Well, I'm losing faith in whether or not I've got this. The ability to string a sentence together and move on to the next topic, which is that, what was this, a date? The next day?
Yeah.
This crazy headline, Xbox boss Phil Spencer leaving, and President Sarah Bond also resigning.
Yeah.
And filling that gap, an executive from Microsoft's AI division.
Yeah. And obviously they've released the name is Asha Sharma is her name. She has only been with Microsoft since 2024, but has been the president of, I think it's called Core AI, which I guess works on Cortana and all of that stuff. And all of the crazy AI projects that aren't public. But she's been president of that. Previously was at not a gaming background, just a corporate background from what I read, but taking over from the great Phil Spencer, the man who everyone loved because he wore t-shirts. I think, and then Matt Booty. Mr. Booty's himself.
Stepping up.
He's stepping up. He's stepping up. He's going to be head of content or chief content officer. which is good, bit of continuity, but the fact that Sarah Bond is resigning is probably not a great call, like a great sign. It seems like whatever the next wave of strategy doesn't potentially align with her. But yeah, it's I don't know. I think
it's strange because I've seen like people are really viewing this as like, this is the death of Xbox. I saw a lot of headlines and opinion pieces, I should say, basically saying this is it, it's over, like they're done. Which is, it's, I guess, like the fact that there's been all these issues for the last like few years, like leading up to this is not a good thing. But it's a weird one because like someone retiring doesn't necessarily have to mean like the death of a company. It's like he's been there for like 25 years at Xbox, 40 years at Microsoft. It's like, he's probably due to retire. But like, I think just like this guy who, as you say, the guy that people really like, he's the guy that was a big drive behind Game Pass, which is like the one thing that, the one ace up their sleeve that I would say they still kind of have when they are putting stuff on it. It does feel like kind of more just like bad timing. I think people look into this stuff and they tend to think that like, oh, he's jumping ship because he's realized it's completely fucked.
Right.
I'm sure he probably realizes like now is not the best time, but like, what do? You never know what's going on in someone's life, whether it's like, you know, if you're a CEO, you got to be like, you got to be sacrificing so much in your life, and it's like, well, I can't just say like, hey, I got to stay with them for another 2 years. You know, like if you've got demands from your family and just like where your life is at, it's like you got to step back at some point.
I think this is like a pretty fair time to do it as well. Like we're deep into a generation. They have been pursuing this strategy for quite a while now. If they were to pivot, then this is a good time for him to step aside and go, all right, there's time to hand this over to the new CEO. There's time for them to evaluate, you know, what we've been doing, where they want to go, what needs to change potentially. I think like maybe because of whatever new strategy they decide on, you know, that could be bad for Xbox. That could be, you know, who knows what it's going to be. It could be like, we just consolidate everything for the next 5 to 7 years and then like retire the brand. Like who knows what it is.
It could be a good time for a shake-up, but then also when you see that, I guess again it's like a headline that's easy to feel catastrophic about, even though I don't know that the reality is necessarily as bad as people might think. Like the fact that it's an AI person taking over, it's like, well, that's just someone moving over from another division. That doesn't, I think people jump to the conclusion that like, oh, well, that means that what she's going to do is just want to, you know, be using AI to make games. Which like, look, may well be true. Obviously she's going to be a champion of it. If she's like worked in that division, she's going to potentially know more about it and be more on board with it than someone else might. But it doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to come in and immediately be like... I would say that the risk of her doing something like that is probably the same risk of like any CEO that's in charge of a gaming division that's got to keep the bottom line down. Like as we're seeing, is like studio closure after studio closure and corners having to be cut, and the way to cut corners at the moment is to get stuff made with AI. So I don't know that like this person now being the head of Xbox is like means that the risk is high of that happening there. I think it's the same risk of it happening there as it is at really any company.
Exactly.
Really.
We're just not hearing about it because the people who might be looking into it are still working there and will continue to work there. There's just no...
Yeah, exactly.
There's no fulcrum point. Like you say, she worked at Meta. She worked at she's a tech CEO. She's someone who knows about technology and digital stuff. I mean, in her statement, in her sort of like, I'm excited to start, blah, 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 blah. You know, she says that, where's the quote? I don't want to misquote her. As monetization and AI evolve and influence this future, the future of Xbox and games, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Games are and always will be art crafted by humans and created with the most innovative technology provided by us. So, like, look, maybe, we've seen Succession. We know that these things can be just marketing speak, but you put that out there to the gaming public who are so, can be so vicious with, statements and quotes and, everyone keeps receipts in the world of games.
Right.
I feel like that could come back to bite her incredibly fast and hard if, they don't stick by that. So... yeah.
If people analyze that statement, they see there's a lot of M dashes in there, and they're like, "This fucking thing was written with ChatGPT."
You're absolutely right. We will not be using AI in our development of games. It's bad, it's wrong, and it's not something people want to hear. But huge.
I saw a great one the other day that was ChatGPT responding to I have no mouth, but I must scream. It's
fuck.
wow, that must be... I can imagine that's very frustrating.
That's great. That's the perfect version of that. Who knows what this means? You'd assume a CEO is going to step in with a fresh strategy. That always is kind of the thing. It's like, well, if you're changing over, you're not going to stick to what's been being done, for the past 10 years. It's all up in the air at the moment, which is kind of exciting. I think we've spoken about how there's been a bunch of bad decisions made by Microsoft, but there's potential for Xbox. And Game Pass was a really exciting and innovative new thing that we were kind of hoping would just become, if not the only way to play games, a way that everyone was going to, sort of approach making games available. So, who knows what's going to happen, but massive news, big week of tumultuous industry news.
And with the Xbox One in particular, massive ripples that we'll be kind of seeing for a while there. There was also kind of this weird thing that happened where people for ages have been quite convinced that Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green were going to be ported over to the Switch. They're Game Boy Advance games, so I think people were hoping that they would be on the Game Boy Online service.
Right.
I think there was a leaked eShop listing. A bunch of the music from it also showed up on Nintendo Music. Mm-hmm. There was there had also been supposed leaks for a couple of weeks now, and then all of a sudden, I guess maybe to get in front of it, because it just was out there anyway. But also that's quite rare that they bother to do that. Even as we saw with the Switch 2, there were things showing up online of the manufacturer, from the manufacturing plant and stuff, and they still didn't budge on dropping the news until they were ready. So there's Pokemon Day is next week. It's the 30th anniversary this year of Pokemon, so people have been really wondering what's the big thing they're going to do to celebrate it. Will they do anything? Next week on the Switch eShop, you'll be able to buy Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, which is the first remasters they ever did of these games. These are the original two games that were on the Game Boy, the first Game Boy. They re-released them for the Game Boy Advance with just improved graphics. But these are just those versions. I believe the justification of why they are a paid separate download and not just part of the Switch Online is because they've got that Pokemon Home app that stores all your Pokemon across all of the games, so that if you fire up one of them, you can you can transfer them across between games in the way that you could in the 90s. You could transfer your old ones across from Gold and Silver when you got that.
Yeah,
I think they've sort of struggled somewhere along the way with between generations, make it seamless for you to be able to keep these monsters that you may have had in your collection for 10 years now or something. But I believe the reason why it's got to be a standalone download is to be able to make it compatible with that app, which I don't think they would be able to get it to do if it was just on the Switch Online.
Right.
I could be wrong about that. Maybe that's too charitable of a read for why they are charging, I don't know what it is here, $20 $25 for.
Yeah, I think it's 20 American. So whatever that would be, 20, 28.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit for a Game Boy Advance game that doesn't have any like upgrades or anything.
Yeah, I think the only like difference is there's multiplayer capability that works with the Switch and the Switch 2. But yeah, I don't even know. I guess resolution would have to be increased, but in terms of the actual game, it's not a remake or a proper remaster. It's just they've just made it compatible with.
It's a Game Boy Advance game.
Yep.
Yeah, it's. Yep. I would imagine it's still like it's the same screen size. Like it's not scaled up or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it truly is just the Game Boy Advance game. But I have seen a lot of people on Twitter who are the Pokemon fanatics very happy about this because this is like a really good remake of the original one.
Right.
I think this is something that the real heads have been kind of clamoring for a little while now. So, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And, I mean, it's a game from 2004. If you don't want to play it, if you don't want to spend 20 whatever dollars it is in your country, just don't get it.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I presume there will be I think they've already announced this. There's going to be like a Pokemon presents like presentation thing. I think this weekend.
It's Friday,
for the for the exact anniversary day of the first games coming out.
So
it'd be cool to see what, if anything, they've got planned, because I don't think that Nintendo have done a particularly great job of celebrating the anniversaries of Mario and Zelda.
Isn't Zelda is like today, the 40th anniversary. I think is it today or tomorrow?
Oh, right.
I'm not sure exactly time zone wise.
Yeah, it's this year, and so people are like, are we going to get any kind of anything? A remaster of... Are we going to get Wind Waker on Switch? Are we going to get a remaster of Twilight Princess or Ocarina of Time remaster? Like, they... Even, for it being the 40th anniversary of Mario, they just kind of were like, the tennis game. Like, I think that was going to come out anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it'll be the same thing with Pokemon. I mean, we probably are due. People do really think that like this is the year we'll get the next mainline one.
Yeah.
Which I suppose by this point we kind of are due for. Like, it's been a few years now, so it would make sense that would be dropping later this year as a Switch 2 exclusive.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'd be keen to see more about this. I keep forgetting that they announced a little while ago that they teamed up with Aardman and they're making a little clay animated. I think it's a series. I don't know if it's a series or a film, but
is it like a Netflix series or something?
Maybe there is a little Netflix stop motion animated series.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be keen to see more of that.
Yeah. And this what's the Animal Crossing Pokemon game?
Oh, Pokopia.
Yeah, I'm keen to see more Pokopia. That's out pretty soon.
Yeah, that might be in like a week and a half. I think it's March the 5th or something.
Yes, you're right. Spot on.
Something like that.
Yeah, pumped for that. I mean, I guess
2 weeks.
It's not like we need to see much more of it because it's out so soon. But hey, we're probably going to get not a sleep app because they already have one, but some other dumb,
some weird
shit.
thing.
Yeah,
there were a bunch of press had a bunch like hands on with Pokopia, and so a bunch of previews of that dropped in the last week, and it's sounding good. It's like got a pretty substantial kind of like campaign to it. That's like 20 or 30 hours or so. A lot of multiplayer stuff that you can do. Lots of like solving little puzzles, and it sounds cool.
Yeah.
I'm really pumped.
Yep. I had no idea I'd be this excited for it when it was announced.
Me either.
I just really was like, cheap Pokemon Farmville, but no, it looks fun. It looks really fun. Yeah. And something else that would look fun, were it to actually be announced yet, is a sequel to Nier Automata. There was, again, I think that was an anniversary event, potentially. What was it? Oh, it sold over 2 million copies.
Right.
So, Square Enix did a little video, a little celebratory kind of montage. But yeah, at the conclusion of it, and there's like, they feature the anime, they feature a bunch of, I don't know if it's a real live action produced thing or just cosplayers. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of Nier stuff. And at the end, it kind of like does this kind of strange countdown from 10 million. And then it says Nier Automata to be continued, which, Yoko Taro shared, Jeff Keighley, the man who killed Highguard himself, shared as well. But yeah, this is exciting. I really loved Automata. I never played the previous one or sort of the spin-offs or the I guess they were kind of re-releases with extra content, all that stuff I never really got into, but that main game or that sequel was really fucking cool.
I still got to do it. I've never done it.
It's really, it's really, really creative. It's really, a breath of fresh air. When every second game is a ninja in third-person action game. It's just so creative and fun. But, apparently Yoko Taro's been, like, I guess pitching or working on games in the interim that just have not gotten up. They've just sort of foundered. They've been cancelled, internally. I don't know if he was potentially working on, original IP, but it does sound like whoever... whichever bigwig is at the top of Square Enix, they're Phil Spencer's son, has said, yes, go ahead. Because, I would be pumped to play another one of these.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that comes to fruition. But in the meantime, I mean, there's stuff right now to be playing.
That's right. Stuff from now that was made now and isn't, defunct technology.
Yes. Oh, you want to start with this?
Yes.
Okay. Have you been eyeing it off in the window behind me this whole time?
Yes.
Thinking, when is he going to get to the fireworks factory?
That's right. Because I don't know how many madmen or mad women out there would have gone in on this straight away, but you have.
Yes. I have been spending a little bit of time with the, I don't know what its full title is, Nintendo Switch Online Virtual Boy, I guess. So Virtual Boy games are up on the Switch Online service, which you need a subscription for. You cannot play them without this replica headset. There are two versions. There is an incredibly completely accurate recreation of the original Virtual Boy, other than the fact that it doesn't have a controller. You're just using the Joy-Con.
Yep.
Or there's like a cardboard version of it that you can get that's a little more cost-effective.
Yes.
And I have seen a couple of people be a bit annoyed by the fact that you can't just play these games without, on the Switch without any of this accoutrement, which I can sort of see the frustration of. But on the other hand, I really respect the in for a penny, in for a pound approach to doing this, because in everything I've played on here, the 3D effect is cool. By the way, if you're not fully aware of what this is, maybe some younger people aren't really across this.
From about 45 years ago.
Yeah, the Virtual Boy came out in, I think, like 96?
Right.
96 or 97. And it was a immediate failure.
Yes.
I don't think it ever even came out in Australia. It had already flopped spectacularly in America and Japan. So we never got it. And basically the issues with it are that it's portable. It's I guess technically a handheld, although you need to be looking into a little visor.
Yes.
So it needs to be like, it doesn't attach to your head in any way. It's just on a stand. So you need to be kind of sitting at a desk looking into it. It's then rendered in like a garish, like bright red.
Yes.
Like it's like the Game Boy screen, but like a bright red that you've got your head like kind of locked into.
Yep.
And so you're having to kind of like hunch forward to look into this thing. I think people were just like, could only play it for short periods of time. It was giving them back pain. It was giving them headaches.
Yes.
And it is far and away Nintendo's biggest failure. I would say more so than even the Wii U.
Yes.
And so, as such, it is really cool that they have decided to even acknowledge its existence, let alone make a big deal out of putting these games all back out there for people to own. I mean, I am the exact type of sucker they were imagining when they made this. But it's for me, it's too crazy of a thing to exist. Like, I'd kind of always wanted to buy one on eBay because it's so weird looking. Mm-hmm. It's such a bizarre little failure. And there's something very interesting to me about re-releasing it in this way where, like, it being a huge flop and there being these massive issues with it, but now repurposing it in a way where no one who's buying this would be disappointed.
Yes.
Like, everyone knows what this is. You are buying an annoying to use thing that lets you play some games that are, like, at best pretty good.
Right.
Like, there's not a big library of games and not that many of them on there are worth playing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if you bought this during at the time, you got in on the ground floor, you probably were really disappointed by all those things because you were, like, expecting it to be something different and then it was discontinued after a year. But there's something fascinating to me about, like, this reissuing of a failure where it's like, no one going in doesn't have all the facts.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, there's no way you're getting this being like, my gaming console of the year 2026. I'm so excited to pour hours. It's like you're buying a piece of history. It's a curiosity, and
exactly.
If you're a diehard Nintendo fan who's curious about this, like you say, weird little failure, it's cool. It's cool for that. It's cool that they've done it, knowing that the original, like, sold so few, and yet they're like, we'll produce a bunch of headsets for this. We'll put the games on our online service. They're clearly not doing it to make money. Also the 3D of it is cool, but it's very, like, it's more kind of like a like, because of the nature of the graphics, it's all very, like, parallax scrolling-y kind of stuff. Right.
Like, it's not like you're fully immersed in this world where you're, like, walking around in it. Like, the Wario game, for example, has, like, stuff happening in the background that you can jump into, which is something that's been replicated in other platformers since. But there are no, I wouldn't say, like, for example, Beat Saber, you really need that depth perception to be able to play the game properly.
Yes.
There's no games in what I've played so far that really have that there's no games on here that couldn't function without the 3D, put it that way.
Yeah.
So they, at any point in history, could have reissued, they could have remade the Wario Land that's on here or any of the other ones that are, like, kind of okay. And so there kind of is no reason to need to play these games in 3D, but like I say, I just like that it's like, no, if you're engaging, you're going all the way in and we're going to make you buy. I mean, even the fact that they've got the, like, cardboard version of it, I think is, like, the kind of concession that they never normally give out.
Yes.
But yeah, so this unit, it's like, it's quite bulky. You sort of open up the top of it and you slide the Switch into this kind of bit that's in front of the two, like where you're looking into. And then it's just, you're putting your head in. It doesn't have its own, it doesn't come with a replica of the controller, which is a little bit of a bummer. Although that being said, I actually kind of think that it does, not that I've ever played one of these back in the day or, since. There's famously one at Super Potato in Akihabara that has been out of order for about 15 years now.
Yes.
But it's actually kind of easier, I would imagine, than playing the proper one because of having if you hold the Joy-Con in both hands, you can, like, I've been playing at this desk where I've got my chair where I can kind of lower myself down so I'm at eye level with the visor
Yep.
and not having to like hunch down and lean over it. And then I'm also like, I'm putting the chair kind of right under the desk. And because I've got the controller kind of split into two, I can have my arms like around the side of it.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I'm able
yeah.
to kind of be like way more like up in it
Yep.
than if you had like a standard controller, you would be, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you would be
yeah.
kind of like, you'd have to be at a bit of a distance from the visor and then hunching forward to get your eyes in is what I imagine it was like back in the day. Maybe we have a listener who's owned one of these originally and can speak a bit more to that. But immediately it does feel like you're able to maneuver yourself with this one a little bit better and get into a position that is not too uncomfortable, sorry. I haven't been finding it too... like I'm pretty good with headaches and stuff like that. Like I'm not someone who gets like motion sickness or gets like, I've got like a fairly high tolerance for stuff like that. So I'm probably not the best judge of that. It definitely is like after a certain period, you're like, man, I've just been staring at red and I've just had my head fucking locked in this thing. I feel a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
They have said that down the line, they're going to give you the option of changing the color of it, which is... funny to be doing it but not be doing it on day one. I kind of think if you're not going to do it day one, then just do it again.
Yeah.
All of the experience of this seems to be so like, no, we're preserving the exact way it was.
Yes.
So I guess I can see the side of the argument of like, okay, so you're going to let us fuck around with the color. Why not just let us play it without the fucking headset?
Yeah, and like have a mode where you can just change the graphics to like a full color game, not just like tinted like Game Boy style. But it's not like they want to provide they're not remaking these games to make them more playable in the modern day. They're just kind of making it a bit easier to experience what the Virtual Boy would have been like kind of in the 90s, sort of.
Yes. Yes.
But that's still cool.
It's really cool. Like I really have been enjoying sitting down with it as basically a museum piece. It is an absolute like it's a real luxury. There's no true need to own it. I mean, for me, the big appeal was the one really good game on there, universally agreed upon, is Wario Land.
Yes.
It's far and away the standout of the entire library. And I love Wario.
Yep.
He's my favorite little guy. And so the fact that it's got like a great Wario game on it, the best game on it is a Wario game, that is the thing that really made me feel compelled to get it. That I'm like, I'm getting the Wario machine.
Yes.
And I'm playing it. There's ways of emulating it, which I have done, but there is just something about playing it in the way that it's kind of meant to be played, and it's very garish and weird looking. And the Wario game is great. It's a really great 2D platformer. It has a lot of stuff where you're jumping back and forth between the foreground and background. I think it might be the second ever Wario game, so it's like a lot more similar to the first one than 2 is to the first one.
Oh, right.
Because they start going off in these they start going off in quite different directions with all of them from like 2 onwards. But this one just does feel like a continuation of 1 that's on a different bit of hardware, so it's like kind of using it a bit, a bit differently.
Yeah.
But it's got a bit more of the first one in its DNA, which I really like. So it's like you're Wario, you've fallen down into this cave, and you're like, each level is like a different layer of the cave, and like you get to the end and you're going into a little elevator that's like bringing you up to the next level, and in between you're like seeing this little guy who's like showing you how far up the cave you've gotten. So it's a cool conceit, lots of neat little design. Boss stuff is really fun. It's the console itself is this like weird mix of, it's like a little more advanced than the Game Boy, but not quite to the level of a Game Boy Advance where it's got like full color or anything yet. But it's got it's maybe a little more sophisticated sound effects and a little more sophisticated like graphics and animation, but not like too much.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it's got this weird in between sort of, a bit more than a Game Boy, but still quite limited, which is kind of endearing and neat. And then there's also on there's like a boxing game that's pretty cool. That's like quite complicated to control. You've got like a mix of like blocking in all different directions and then punching in all different directions. And the 3D effect is really cool in that. There's a Tetris on there that is almost impossible to play because it's like Tetris, but filling in like a cube. But the cube is just kind of like constantly rotating.
Yeah, right.
So it's kind of hard to like. You're not in control of like being able to swing it around and be like, okay, let me see where I've got to put this into. Mm-hmm. It's sort of moving by itself,
right? Which
makes it very hard to keep a track of what you're like, where you're putting the blocks down in. There's also golf on there, which I have not bothered with yet. I'm trying to think what else is on there.
There's a Mario Tennis on there, isn't there?
Tennis is not on there yet, so like they haven't launched it with all of the games. That's like they're going to slowly drip feed them out.
Right.
But there is a tennis game. There's like also a 3D version of like the first Mario game, like the arcade one where you're in the pipes. It's like a kind of three-dimensional plane version of that, which is again the biggest issue of like all of these games, even the good ones that they kind of copped it for back in the day, is that they're just really short. Like the Wario game is apparently at max 2 to 3 hours, which again, if you're just getting it as part of a subscription service and you're just wanting to engage as a curiosity, it's fine. But I think that was what really shot them in the foot. I mean, even by the point that this comes along, even the Game Boy itself, with its very, very limited cartridge size, was starting to have things like Pokemon, where it really, or like Link's Awakening, where you really were getting so much out of that cartridge and you were getting like a decent 10-ish hour experience. So to be paying this much money for something that is like a really cool game, but goes for 2 hours. And I suppose in their minds, they're thinking about it like, well, we don't want people to be locked into this thing for too long because it's causing, it's like pretty intense to look at. And people won't want to be
either. Like, I mean, it's the case with a lot of VR games now, or, say 7 to 8 years ago, it was like things to be played in sessions where you're not playing long narrative games necessarily. And the ones that were out there in terms of like narrative experiences, it was like a Star Wars game that goes for 3 hours maximum.
Yes. Yes.
Which, nothing really has changed in the approach there. It's just that people were more annoyed about it back in the Virtual Boy days.
But I mean, I am really happy with it. It is exactly for a complete freak like me.
Yes.
I love that it exists. I don't know that I could. If you're listening to this, you own one already, or you will never buy it.
Yes.
Everyone that will ever buy this bought it on day one, I think.
I think you're
You know
right.
what I mean? Like, there's no. I can't really recommend to you to.
No.
It is cool, but even the good stuff in there is so short lived, and I reckon I will end up 100%ing that Wario Land game because it is really good, but. I mean, it's kind of weird that they never took the foundation of this and like remade it in full color and flesh it out and like double the number of levels or whatever. But I am hoping that we've been getting a lot more. I love that in the last like 6 months or shorter that now 2 of the harder to find Wario games, this and the GameCube one, are now on the Switch Online. Like I love that. Yeah, we're getting a little better treatment for the beautiful, fat, smelly man. But yeah, the other cool thing that I'm kind of excited to see how it pans out is that they've said that they are going to, down the line, be dropping a couple of games that never even ended up coming out back in the day.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what kind of bank there is of games that they... Yeah, how many did they have in the chamber that they never ended up putting out? There's... some people found like basically like a demo of there was a Mario platformer that was, I think, at an E3 or something that they'd been showing off. So people, of course, get pretty excited and go like, fuck, I wonder if that was like ready to go, or like, even if it wasn't, if they would bother putting some time into just finishing it off, polishing it up, and then putting it on there. Could be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. It's fucking stupid. I truly thought Lauren was going to call off the engagement when she saw that that's what I'd spent my money on. But yeah, it's cool. It's a little museum piece. And, it's up there behind me now. It looks cool on a shelf.
Yeah.
It's a little Virtual Boy sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, it's very
one
cool.
of the great... It's maybe the most notorious video game failure, and I love that it's getting this weird sort of... I don't even know that you'd call it a second wind.
Right.
It's not like it's like... People came around to the Wii U library when they released all those games on the Switch because they're undeniably great games. It's like, most of these games suck, and the one that's good goes for 45 minutes.
But it looks beautiful on a shelf. It really does.
It does look beautiful on a shelf, yeah.
Well, yeah, speaking of games that are a little shorter than perhaps you might be expecting, I have been playing a game that I was really pumped to play. I played the demo for this on Steam. I think it came out as part of the Next Fest last year. But Reanimal, Reanimal is out. It is from, as you referenced before, some people who used to make Little Nightmares. Tarsier Studio, they're a Swedish development studio. They made the first two Little Nightmares games before, I don't know exactly what happened. The rights remained with, I think, Bandai maybe, or...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they created that IP. They created those puzzle platformer games that we, I think, both quite enjoyed. I at least enjoyed I think, the first couple of them. And then, Reanimal is very similar in sort of, concept and style. It reminds me a little bit more of Inside, which I think, we also both loved when that came out. It has a bit more, three-dimensionality to it. It's more of an ongoing, narrative adventure where you're exploring kind of more open spaces and backtracking and, just visually, it's very dark. It's very kind of, I was going to say Tim Burton-esque, but he really isn't that anymore. But
no,
it doesn't look like Dumbo.
Yeah,
it looks like
it's very ASAP Rocky album cover.
Yes, yeah, just like super dark, very simple kind of low polygon designs, but great atmosphere and aesthetic to it. The game starts off where you're in this like dinghy in the middle of the ocean. It's fog everywhere, and there's just a tiny little shining red beacon off in the distance. And the game, I don't think, provides you any direction except for what the controls are. So it's just a direct pilot the boat using the left stick, and you just kind of follow these. In some cases, subtle, but in other cases, clear environmental context clues of where to go, what to do, and the concept basically is you're a weird little animal kid. Your friends have been imprisoned or are being kind of hunted on this creepy island, and you had the chance to escape, but you've gone back and you're trying to rescue everyone. And then, it's basically this sort of simplistic 3D puzzle platformer, emphasis on the puzzle. There's not really a lot of sort of, fast twitch platforming or anything, which there was, I think there was more of that in Inside, and that involved a bit of sort of timing and things like that. The game Bionic Bay, which I played recently, is very, very particular about its platforming, but this is more about the puzzle solving. It also can be played entirely in co-op, because you very quickly meet one of your other little mates, and there's a lot of, if you're playing single player, like, hey, direct your mate to hold down this button while you go over here, climb this ladder, and do this other thing. So there's a lot of working in tandem, which is totally fine as a single player experience, but I reckon, it would be really fun in co-op. And then, the fucking art design of this is just really cool. Like the enemies are fucked up. There's a certain kind of uncanniness to the way they're proportioned. You get chased by these, basically, they kind of function like snakes, but they're empty skin sacks. Like they're empty, like if there was nothing inside a human skin. And they're like got creepy like smiles, and they're chasing you around.
Sick.
And so there's no combat, but it's more like if any of the bad things touch you, you're dead. So
right.
Yeah, in terms of,
that's very Little Nightmares.
Yeah,
there's no from memory. I don't think there's any way of fighting back. It's just and Inside's very the same as well. Just like you just have to do the timing of this correctly.
Yes.
There's no room for error. If you get seen, you're done.
Yeah, you're done. And so, I reckon I've played probably half of it, and that's what I was referencing at the start of this discussion. It's only like 3.5 hours long, which is not terrible. If a game like this, packs a punch and it's intelligent and the story's cool and, it leaves you wanting more almost, that can be great. This game did cost like $55 Australian, which is a lot of money, quite frankly.
That's getting more to like you'd want it. That's more like a full-sized game that just is made by an indie team.
Exactly.
Like,
yes. Yeah. A double-A third-person action game with a 20-hour story is that's kind of the realm for that price. It is really fucking good though. Like I think there was that other game by the team that did actually make Inside, or like half of the team. That came out a few years ago, and it was like Aliens had invaded Summer Town or something. Well, I forget what it was called, but it wasn't quite as polished. The narrative drive wasn't quite as good as the stuff they'd worked on previously. It kind of felt like, oh yeah, you're missing half of the team. This is lacking. But Reanimal feels great. It's polished. It's a really clear, like, visual aesthetic and tone and atmosphere. It's like really, genuinely quite creepy. Really, like, has I don't know. It's just a really smart illustrator kind of technique of getting certain proportions wrong on a body to make it feel really disturbing and uncanny and very like It Follows kind of like looming creatures and but. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I like obviously would I have liked it to have been cheaper? Yes, the same with my groceries. But it's really fucking cool. If you've liked Little Nightmares, if you like the look of it, if you played something like Limbo, Inside, anything like that, it's worth a try. It may be worth trying to wait for a sale or potentially. I don't know. I am loving it. I am glad that I jumped on it straight away. But it's just a little pricey.
There is a demo. There is a demo.
Yes.
Still. So you have the option of seeing if you think the beginning of it is worth eventually paying $55.
Yeah. It has literally the start, and I think you jump a bit forward maybe, and there's another slice of the game from a bit later on. But give the demo a crack, and I will say, if you don't care how long it is, the experience is really high quality.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this.
Yes, I think you'll like it quite a bit.
There's also one other thing I'm seeing here on the docket that you've you've dabbled in.
I've dabbled. We talked about this. It was shadow dropped at the State of Play a week ago, and we were not entirely convinced by what we saw of God of War: Sons of Sparta, the 2D Metroidvania, sort of, I guess it is pixel art, having played it. It's definitely pixel art. It's just, it feels like, I don't know, like a game that would come in a cereal box. It's really weird. Like, it's not like it's bad. Like, the combat is fairly simplistic. It's basically, you've got a spear, you're young Kratos, you're in the Spartan Academy. You got to go out into the forest to battle enemies because your teachers tell you to. There's I don't know if there's a massively, epic overhanging story to it, but the basic setup is you go out and fight a bunch of monsters and shit and do a bunch of quests for the people in the academy. And it's very.
I've only just realized that that aborted God of War live service game that probably was being put into commission around the same time as this, and then also they announced that there's those remakes coming out.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it feels like they just in that state of play, they were like, yeah, here's a whole bunch more God of War. And people being like, it's kind of a weird thing to do with this IP, just all of a sudden be flogging it. And the truth is, like, we almost had a version of something that people really do not want.
Yeah.
Especially of a series that they really like.
Yeah. And, I mean, like... Yeah, I don't think the reviews have been particularly glowing for Sons of Sparta. It's very simplistic. I actually don't like how it looks. It has pixel art, but then the animations are like weirdly smooth. It doesn't mesh together well. Yeah, there's sort of an unnaturalness to it that it's kind of off-putting. And then apart from that, it's very simple. There's not a lot of sort of puzzle-esque Metroidvania stuff. It's just like, you go over here, you go up there, there's a boss, then you can go back over there. I don't want to shit on it too much because I don't feel like it was aiming to be, it's not reinventing the wheel. It's just a nice, simple game that's, I think, quite cheap as well. I just didn't like it. It's not for me.
Didn't grab you.
It didn't grab me. I think the bar for this kind of game is so incredibly high.
Yes.
And I don't play that many of them either, so I tend to just play, the really, really good ones. And so, my comparison for this maybe is a little unfair, but also I don't want to play any more of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine because guess what?
What?
At the end of this week, we're going to be playing Resident Evil 9, a game that it feels like we've been hearing about non-stop for about every week. There's some presentation has Resident Evil 9 wedged in there, but I'm pumped. I am pumped to lock the fuck in, lights off, and just get spooked. I'm gonna see if I can get Lauren to watch me play.
Oh, nice.
To engage with a little bit of the world of Resident Evil 9.
I think there is 0% chance of me getting Bridget to do that.
I sort of haven't really been also watching any of the trailers or anything from those, like... I've sort of been skipping them when they've come up.
Yeah.
I haven't really been paying too close attention because I was just like, I love Resident Evil. I know I'm going to play it.
Exactly.
I know that Leon's in it, but I don't need to see a big chunk of his gameplay. I don't really need to know too much about what the other protagonist is doing. I just want to go in. So I feel like I've got very little kind of idea of what I'm in for in terms of even like the setting and stuff of this game. I've just kind of zoned out because I'm like, I don't need to be won over.
No, exactly right. Yes, they've already got your money. I think I watched probably the first sort of big one that was at the first big presentation. But there's been 4. Hey, there's still time for a 5th trailer to drop between now and release date. True. Fingers crossed. But
there often is a release day trailer for these things.
Yeah. But really excited to play this. And who knows what else.
Who knows what the future holds.
That's right.
Well, that's going to do it for us for this week. Get onto the Patreon if you want to support the show.
Oh, yes.
Get yourself some bonus content every week. We really appreciate it. filthycasuals.com.au is where you can find the links to everything that we have going on. Drop us an email, by the way. It was nice getting that email from that Patreon person during the week.
Yeah.
But, always happy to hear from the filth. You can also get at us on the socials. We're very, very easy to track down.
We really are. It's all available. You can probably find too much information out about us, quite frankly. But filthycasual.com.au, all of our contact information if you want to hit us up, send us an email, get on the Patreon, buy some merch, listen to old episodes, or just appreciate our beautiful, beautiful headshots.
Oh, yeah. We'll see you next time. And as we say here at the end of every episode of Filthy Casuals, when they contacted Matt Booty to tell him that he was going to be promoted, do you think they were excited to make that Booty call?
Yeah. He's had a really good track record of, executive work, and I think he's going to fill the positions quite well.
I think you've cut out there. Okay, bye.